Alrighty, so hey everyone, I wanted to thank you for coming. My name's Adam Lee, and I'll be running this webinar today. Today's webinar will be a non-technical business level presentation focused on Windows Server 2012. If you're looking for a more technical presentation on Server 12, we will be holding more in-depth technical presentations in coming weeks, so keep an eye out for those invites. That being said, we will open the floor up after the presentation for any questions you may have. Also, if you have a question in the middle of a presentation, feel free to chime in. We'd love to answer those. So the agenda today, we'll be covering three topics. First, we're going to be looking at the current trends affecting your business today. Second, we're going to be looking at how Windows Server 2012 can support your business objectives. And third, we will outline a few simple steps to get started. Right now, I'd like to take the time to introduce Jacob Eker, PEI's Executive Director of Engineering, who will be taking you through the rest of this presentation.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. We absolutely appreciate you guys coming into the webinar and talking about Windows Server 2012. We're going to start by, as Adam said, looking at how what business trends are affecting you today, looking at how Windows Server 2012 can help those effects that are happening, and then also how to get started using Windows Server 2012. First thing I'd like to do is share an example of a mid-sized company that is using Windows Server 2012 at this point. Just a quick intro into this. This is a customer that's using Windows Server 2012 now with virtualization, using new features in Windows Server 2012 that really help with disaster recovery. This customer is a part of the Windows Server 2012 beta program, and we wanted to share their experience with you. Disaster recovery is just one example of what we are hearing from our customers and what the needs are that they are having, and solutions to help address those challenges that they're facing. Let's take a look now at some of the challenges you may be facing in your business. Let's first take a look at how the workplace environment has changed over the last few years. As the line between people's life and work gets blurred, people's personalities and individual work styles have an increasing impact on how they get their work done and really what technologies they prefer to use. As a result, users more and more want to say in what technology they use to get their jobs done. This is really a good thing. It's great as it unleashes people's productivity and their passion, and in turn leads to innovation and to a competitive advantage to your organization. These tech-savvy users are also increasingly mobile and operate in a fast-paced environment. The dynamic environment, along with connectivity from anywhere, continues to erode the line between people's life as well as their work. The user's mobility is also lending itself to device proliferation, with users having broad access to consumer devices at home, at work, leads to a higher user expectation of technology that they have for work. And finally, the digital generation entering the workplace raises these expectations to a whole new level. A generation that has grown up completely fluent in the language of digital technology, with tweets, with texts, with Facebook, et cetera, and ongoing, really has led to a dramatically different expectation about the tools they should use and should have available to them in the work environment. With these changes in the work environment, it's really affecting where you work, and how you think about growing your business. This impacts what you need out of your IT. We have heard our customers consistently ask for IT solutions that include three things. First, simplified IT. I want to simplify the way we use and manage our IT investments. Second, we want to save money. Help us identify ways to reduce costs while getting more from our IT investments. And ultimately, help growing the business. I want IT to be a catalyst for growing business and show me how to translate technology investments into real business value. So in short, what we're really looking for is doing more with IT, with less work for the already overtaxed IT team while decreasing the IT spend. So I'm assuming this is the common theme that everybody has that's on this webinar today. And looking forward, regardless of what is top of mind for you guys and for your companies, taking that first step or even the next step with virtualization or upgrading aging servers. With Windows Server 2012, you can achieve all three of these business goals: to simplify IT, to save money, and to grow the business. So let's take a minute and look at how we can map what Windows Server 2012 does to be able to deliver and achieve these business goals. So there are countless benefits and new features of Windows Server 2012 that can help to dramatically change the day-to-day IT operations of a company. When we look at the business value of why a company should upgrade, it quickly becomes clear that Windows Server 2012 really delivers on the business needs of that customer. Let's first take a look at how it can help simplify IT. First, a complete virtualization platform. Virtualizing your infrastructure gives you the ability to respond to business needs faster, support self-service delivery to your users, and when you are ready, take that next step to the cloud. Second, improved management. Being able to provide automation for a broader set of management tasks and simplifying deployments keeps you focused on more strategic initiatives that help grow the business. And of course, we recognize that especially with all the changes in today's workplace, the solution needs to address security. Companies need to control access to company-sensitive as well as customer-sensitive data by making authorization and information auditing management more central, flexible, and natural. Windows Server 2012 offers many ways that customers can save money. Here I've highlighted a couple of examples. First, affordable storage. Now with Windows Server 2012 and with storage spaces in Windows Server 2012, you can virtualize industry standard storage across new as well as existing hardware to maximize your investments. Second, continuous availability. With file system enhancements like Resilient File System, you can keep the business up and running by providing cost-effective services built to prevent downtime, speed recovery when needed, and utilize online backup for an additional layer of data protection. With all the additional data needs we see in today's workplace, the solution must also have increased scale and increased performance. With Windows Server 2012, you can use offloaded data transfers and utilize SMB 3.0 to scale your high-density environment to perform at the optimum level for the needs of your business. Ultimately, companies talk about wanting to improve and grow their business. With Windows Server 2012, your employees will see the benefits of the solutions as they have improved access and increased productivity. As we discussed earlier, the changing work environment has put added pressures on your business to ensure you can support the needs of your employees as they become more mobile and the lines of work and life continue to blur. Here are some examples of how Windows Server 2012 can help your team be productive and grow your business. First, access from anywhere with any device. You and your team can get secure access to your personalized work environment from virtually anywhere on virtually any device using direct access and/or VDI. Second, reusable processes and assets. Keep your business agile as you take advantage of repeatable processes and reusable IT assets instead of reinventing the wheel for each project or opportunity that you have. All of this with a solution that's designed to be flexible and meet the needs of your business. Everything you need and interoperable with what you have. The software solutions and partner ecosystem of hardware and services make it easy to upgrade existing business systems without the stress of undue costs. So why Microsoft? Virtualization is about much more than simply consolidating physical servers and cutting data center costs. Virtualization means helping IT departments maximize their ROI as well as cost savings across the company. That's why Microsoft created a portfolio of products that address all aspects of the physical as well as the virtual environment. Windows-based servers and operating systems, applications, and desktops that can easily be managed through a centralized console. One, it's a platform that you already know. Microsoft made it easier for you to implement virtualization by delivering technologies that not only are designed to work together, but that also integrate with your existing Windows infrastructure. Because the virtualization products are based on familiar Windows platforms and interfaces and work with Windows-based technologies such as Active Directory, your IT staff can use the skills they already have. This means you can speed your adoption and will need less training, which will lower the costs within your organization. Another reason Microsoft provides a complete suite of technologies to enable an integrated end-to-end virtualized infrastructure. Using products that span the desktop to the data center, you can bring capabilities online in real time as needed. You can streamline and provision applications services, and data on demand. End-to-end management. With Microsoft technologies, you can manage all of your physical as well as your virtual infrastructure from the data center to the desktop on a single screen. Last, cost savings. Windows Server 2012 helps to deliver the most dynamic, continuously available, cost-effective server platform for on-premise or cloud-optimized IT. Windows Server 2012 Hyper-V provides a complete virtualization platform, supports industry-leading scale, and allows you to securely extend your data center to the cloud on your terms. In short, Microsoft provides a familiar, complete, cost-effective solution that is specifically designed to meet your needs. Microsoft has created solutions for all size customers. They recognize that different size companies have different needs. They don't lump all customers into one large category, but instead look at the business needs at each stage that the customer is in and have enhanced existing features as well as built new features based on the feedback they've received from us, the partner, as well as from you, the customer. So we've shown you some examples of how leveraging Windows Server 2012 you can simplify IT, save money, and ultimately grow your business. How do we get started from here? In our mind, the first step is to assess the current IT environment as well as the current needs that you have within your IT environment. From there, you can build a roadmap that leads into the future, so your IT will support your business as it grows. And once you have that roadmap, then you start on the adoption, you start on the deployment of Windows Server 2012 and the related products. If you need help with the assessment, the roadmap, or the deployment, PEI is here to help. We can assist with each of these stages within the lifecycle of implementing Windows Server 2012. After we assess your business needs and discuss further how deploying the solution can bring value to your business and be the foundation to get your roadmap in place, we can continue to explore more options and ensure you're getting the most out of your IT investments you have in place. And with that, I've come to the end of the presentation. I wanted to thank you for your time, but more, I wanted to open up the floor for any questions that you guys may have about Windows Server 2012. If you have any questions, feel free to either add an instant message, or if you have voice capabilities, please go ahead and ask any questions that you may have.
Hi, Jake. I thought I'd start off by asking the first question, seeing as that one of the biggest things that I hear is what really has changed within the licensing of Windows Server 2012.
Sure. The licensing has changed kind of drastically, to be honest with you. Within Windows Server 2008, first of all, we had three different levels. We had a standard level, we had the enterprise level, and we had the data center level. Standard and enterprise were really based on individual licenses. That has really changed with Windows Server 2012. First of all, we don't have an enterprise level anymore. We only have a standard edition and an enterprise edition. Within the standard edition and enterprise edition, the feature set and the capabilities for each of those is exactly the same. That is different from what we had within Windows Server 2008. The major difference between 2012 standard and 2012 enterprise is the number of virtual machines that you can have with each edition. With Windows Server 2012 standard edition, you can have up to 2 virtual machines, and with Windows Data Center, you can have as many virtual machines on that same host with the Data Center edition. The other big change also is that all of the Windows Server licensing is now based on processors. So if you have 2 physical processors in the system, that is 1 Windows license. If you have 4 physical processors, then that's 2 licenses of Windows. From there, once you determine how many processors that you have and how many copies of Windows Server that you need to be able to cover the processors, then you determine how many virtual machines that you may choose to have for that individual host. If you have 2 or 4, that may mean that you have a couple Windows Standard editions. If you're going up to, say, 8 or 10 virtual machines, that may mean you're going more into the Data Center license to be able to cover all the virtual machines you have on the system. So those are kind of the highlights of how the licensing has changed from older edition of Windows to Windows Server 2012. One piece to note in there also, you still have the capability of downgrading to older editions of Windows Server if you need to. The licensing has all changed, so the only Windows Server that's available at this point is Windows Server 2012. But if you have a desire or want to put Windows 2008 Server in place, you can still do that. Okay. Are there any questions from folks in the webinar?
Hello, this is Luis Ramos.
Hi.
How are you? I'm trying to implement direct access, and I'm encountering problems trying to find a detailed guide, a book on how to do it exactly step by step. I understand that in 2012, this process has been streamlined and that you no longer need the certificate server, but it's only for Windows 8 machines, not for Windows 7 Ultimate. Can you please expand on that and point us to a place where we can implement 2012 direct access in an easier fashion?
You are correct that the process for direct access with Windows Server 2012 has been streamlined quite drastically. The need for TMG, Threat Management Gateway, or UAG rather, has been removed. So now you can do it directly with Windows Server 2012. As far as the directions and the process for implementing direct access, the best resource, they have a very good write-up of it on TechNet that pretty much walks you through each individual step for implementing direct access. Otherwise, of course, I can offer our services and implementing direct access with 2012. There are some additional requirements as far as external IP access. Certificates still a question within that. So, there are some steps that need to be followed within that. But the best resource, of course, besides calling into PEI, would be TechNet.
Thank you very much.
Sure. Any other questions for you guys out there?
I have a quick one. This is Adam again, Jake. I just really wanted to ask for the fact that I've seen a couple people be confused based on when going into 2012 dealing with CALs. If you could go into just a quick little, brief of what that is and how many you may need.
Sure. I mean, the short for client access licenses is you're going to need a client access license for every user that accesses a server indirectly or directly. There's a lot of permutations within that, but that's really what it comes down to is if somebody's accessing something on a Windows server, they're going to need a client access license for it. Now, you have two types of access licenses. You have a device CAL and a user CAL. A device CAL, if you have if one user has 5 different devices, they're going to need a CAL for each one of those devices. If they have a user CAL, then it doesn't matter how many devices they have, they can use that user CAL instead. So you kind of have to look at your mix of devices versus the mix of users and determine what's going to be the most cost effective for the organization. But as you go through the CAL breakout, those are kind of the considerations that you have to go through within the Windows CALs.
Thanks for clearing that up.
Sure. Any other questions? Okay. One thing I wanted to remind you guys, as Adam said at the beginning of this webinar, this is the first in a series of webinars that we are doing within Windows Server 2012. First, focusing on the business value and what business value Windows Server 2012 can provide to organizations. So it's definitely more of a non-technical approach to the webinar. As we go forward in our series of webinars, we will get more technical and we will focus more on the different technologies that come within Windows Server 2012. But we wanted to start with a very high-level business value approach to Windows Server 2012 and what it means to the businesses that we put it in. So, as Adam said, please keep an eye on your inbox for other invites for the next webinars that come through. We will be doing more of these to get more of the information out for people. Lastly, I wanted to throw out there, if you have any questions on Windows Server 2012, what it can do for you, what technologies are included within it, what advancements are there, and how to build that roadmap, please feel free to call into PEI, call into your account managers, or call into the engineers that you know, and we can help you with those questions. You know, if you have what-if scenarios that you want to go through, or if you want to talk about how to implement and how to build that into your roadmap, we can certainly help you out with those issues and bring it more to the forefront for you. Do you guys, and a question came in over IM, do you guys have a site for Server 2012 help and tips? We are actually putting that together. We just put out a mailer for tips and tricks for Windows 8, and we are putting together that same type of information for Server 2012 as well that will reference helpful tips and tricks for that, as well as helpful reference points for Windows Server 2012, so that we can get that out to everybody.
Jake, we actually have that is already put together. If you want to send me your email, you see my email address, adam.lee@pei.com. I can forward you over a copy. It is basically a cheat sheet, knowledge base on everything you need to know about Windows Server 2012. It's a great, you know, we've found that people find it very you know, it's a great way to get all your information at one place, because we know how hard it is really to get all that information, because it's scattered all over the internet right now.
Okay. And William, thank you for putting that through on the instant messaging. If anybody else has any questions, please feel free to speak out, or you can also follow suit and put it through in an instant message for us. And we're getting another request here. Okay. We just got a statement from Mr. Cadenhead saying thank you for the webinar. Keep them coming. We definitely will. You guys will definitely see more invites as they come through. Adam?
Yeah, I wanted to add, we will also be sending out, this webinar is being recorded, so we will have this on our YouTube channel just in case you want to watch it again, or you want to pass it on to anyone. But we will also be sending out questionnaires and comments with also questions that you'd like us to address in future webinars. So really, your participation of getting those back to us can even help us push webinars towards places that you are more interested in as well. So that's something to keep in mind going forward.
All right, and with that, I think we've come to the end of the webinar. As Adam said, if you have questions or comments that you'd like to have focused on for next webinar, please send them in. If you have questions or comments about this webinar, please also reply to the survey that will go out here shortly for you guys. Other than that, thank you very much for joining us today for the webinar for the beginning of our series. And we will definitely be putting out other invites for folks to be joining in for other webinars that we will be putting together. All right. Everyone have a great day. And again, thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Jacob.